hazard, bruv.
Progression. It's what every free runner aims for.
Learning and improving movements to become more comfortable, efficient and skilled.
Let's get on with this video. Right, section 1, short-term progression. Short-term progression is definitely the easiest to describe. It's quite simply learning a new skill or technique. It's that feeling when you land the particular flip or trick for the first time. It might not be clean, it might not be flowy or pretty, but you've landed it. This could only take an hour or two, especially if you've been training for a while, or it could even take up to a couple of days. But it's what kickstarts a long-term progression. It's incredibly rewarding and an immediately visible milestone. You couldn't do that before? Now you can. And for me personally, this sets my brain off thinking about all the other possibilities that learning this move has just opened up. All the new moves, all the new lines I can put it into. And I'm sure this idea is applicable to many other sports as well. I thought a good way to show this would be to come down to Sandbanks Beach in Dorset and try and learn a new trick today. We've got these yoga balls to bury in the sand and we use them like trampolines, so yeah, let's give it a go. So back falls is something that I've never been able to do flat. I'd like to get them today, I think I can. So here's the process. First I need to land a backflip. Then I need to land a backflip more laid out. And then I need to start thinking about adding the twist. So I have a little go on the stairs. And once I've done that, I'm ready to try the full thing, and it's going to take quite a few repetitions before I actually land this. Cool, so on to section 2, which is long-term progression. Long-term progress is a lot more gradual. It's a lot more difficult to explain too. It's slowly improving on something over a long time. It's a lot less noticeable than short-term. And it can also be a lot more frustrating too, especially when it feels like you're not getting anywhere, which it often does for me. Take for example my max running pre, which has gone from about 10 feet to 13 feet. Just in lockdown alone. And with this physical progression, there also comes a mental progression, becoming more comfortable with these things that you're doing. Come out here to Pool and I'm going to look at a bunch of my old Instagram clips and try and find similar spots and recreate what I'm doing, but better, to try and show the long-term progression of me getting better. Yeah. I mean, the obvious first video to compare to is my first ever backflip video. This was in Stoneham Park in Portslade. And let's see, it was October 5th, 2017 I filmed this, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's there's not much that's right about that backflip. As you can see, I'm doing it off of a rock down a hill and then falling down the hill, which is brilliant. The landing's pretty shabby. I lean back a lot, my head is looking back, all sorts of bits are wrong with that. Even though my backflip now is far from perfect, as you can see there's a lot more height, the tuck is a lot tighter, so there's a lot more spin there. The landing is so much more comfortable, and obviously I'm confident enough to do it on flat ground on concrete, which is a big plus. So number 2, I've got this stride set, which was actually from Sainsbury's in Brighton. This was a little jam we had actually this January, and there's a little flip on the end there, which is just awful. I mean, it's supposed to be like flip pre-tech, but I couldn't really do flip pre, so it has about the same amount of similarities to a flip pre as it does to a cheese sandwich. Nevertheless, I've come down to this little spot in Pool. We've got 5 benches all in a row. It's not the most similar setup, but it's the best I've got right now, and it's actually a lot more difficult than what I'm doing. So I should be able to do it much cleaner, much nicer, and just show that long-term progression that this has happened so gradually over time. It's not before and after. It's this whole this whole spectrum of during.
Whenever you're ready.
Right, just on our way home now, we've spotted a little challenge that I've really got to try. Not really sure how far it is because we can't go down to measure it up. We reckon it looks 13? About 13 feet. It's got a little drop, it's got a nice run up. Could be going in, but I think it'll be so cool if I can get this, so that'll be nice.
Hazard, bro.
When you're training regularly, it can be really easy to get frustrated or upset when it feels like you're not making any progress. I know I definitely do, and it's really difficult to take a step back and look at what's actually been achieved. Often when I've ticked off a challenge, I'm not thinking about what I've just done, but I'm already thinking about what's the next bigger, better step. And I think a lot of people would agree that they're never really satisfied with the level they're working at. And whilst this can be an incredible driving force, it can also really quickly turn toxic and harmful, both mentally and actually potentially physically, trying huge challenges before you're actually really ready. I might actually come back to this quite difficult topic of demotivation in a future video, but I feel like I've got a lot more learning to do before I'm actually even slightly qualified to talk about that. You know, and I'm very aware that I'm only 17 and there's a lot of people with a far more extensive knowledge than me who have trained for longer and who are far better suited to talking about this sort of thing. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you've got any ideas or tips, please do send them my way on Instagram, DM me at RonanDoylePK. There'll be a link in my bio to my account there where you can follow me and stuff. I've got an edit coming out hopefully soon. I'm trying to get bits for it, I promise. So stay tuned for that, subscribe. So yeah, I will see you in 2 weeks' time.